Hi, I'm Granny, and we're going down the rabbit hole of the moon episode 3. The next time you look up at the moon, I want you to be very grateful for what you see because it is that moon that stabilizes this planet, providing a home, providing an, an environment that all plant and animal life can thrive. You, me, the moon also protects the water on our Earth. Water is very rare in our solar system. Our universe is mostly made up of solids and gases. In episode 4 of the moon in our series, we will look closer at what makes up our solar system and what makes our moon so exceptional to all the other moons. The moon's effect on the tides are about 2 times stronger than the sun's. Isn't that interesting? Anyway, tides are created by the moon. Waves generally are created by the wind, but giant or rogue waves are sometimes the result of tsunamis caused by plate tectonics. But plate tectonics is for another rabbit hole, but I mention here because there seems to be a correlation between the moon and plate tectonics. Some studies by scientists appear to confirm that the moon may help the Earth's magnetic core because if we're the Earth and the moon is rotating around it, that is influencing the Earth's magnetic core. And maybe that's for another rabbit hole. I don't know. There are scientists that believe the plate tectonics of our planet is influenced by the moon and may also influence volcanic activity. The moon also affects our ice cores up at the poles. In Earth's infancy, about 10 billion years ago, 10 billion infancy. That's interesting. But according to the scientists, about 1 billion years ago, a day on Earth was about 18 hours. When the moon was created, it was much closer to the Earth than it is now. Scientists say gravitational forces would have been much stronger and it would have taken the moon only 5 hours to orbit around the Earth. All right, so imagine you're sitting on the beach and you're watching surfers come in on wonderful 10-foot waves, and it is just a beautiful day. Well, scientists estimate that when the moon was rotating only 5 hours every day, for every 5 hours on every day, the moon was rotating around the Earth, that the tides would have been 1,000 times stronger, which means a 10-foot wave today would have been 10,000 feet back in the day. These huge waves, which I wished I could see because we don't have anything comparable on Earth today, but scientists estimate that it is these huge waves that strip the crust off the Earth to create rich oceans we have today, providing, according to the scientists, building blocks for life. The gravity of the moon creates a pull on the side of the Earth the moon is closest to. So the gravity of the moon creates large tides on one side, and on the other side, lower tides. So we've heard of the phases of the moon, and a moon phase is referred to by the shape of the moon's sunlit portion as seen from Earth. There are 8 total moon phases: new moon, waxing crescent, first quarter, waxing gibbous, full moon, waning gibbous, third quarter, and waning crescent. These phases repeat every 29.5 days. Tides are largest when the sun, moon, and Earth are aligned. Every day, 24 hours and 50 minutes approximately. There are 2 high tides and 2 low tides. The term spring tides has nothing to do with a season, but it refers to the tide in which the difference between high tide and low tide is the greatest, when the moon is either new or full, and when the sun, moon, and earth are aligned. The high tides are higher than at any other time of the year. The term neap tide, neap is spelled N-E-A-P, takes place 7 days after a spring tide and refers to the period of moderate tides when the sun and moon are at right angles to each other. I want you to go on YouTube and search for Silver Dragon of China. It is a tidal wave, or what is referred to as Bore tide, and that's B-O-R-E tide, which is the largest in the world. People have been watching the Silver Dragon for more than 2,000 years. It travels 40 kilometers an hour and is about 9 meters high. And if you go on YouTube, you'll see people surfing. And anyway, they are having fun, but I would recommend you being very careful if you try and do the same thing. They seem to be experts. But when that Bore wave hits an obstacle, the waves can reach up to 50 meters high. The Silver Dragon occurs in the Kuangtang River in China and is the strongest in the fall when there's a full moon. So another thing to learn about tides is that there are whirlpools. Now, you've seen something similar, like when you let the water out in your bathtub and it swirls around the drain. Well, I shared with you about black holes and how it sucks in quasars and all kinds of space debris. Well, whirlpools have been known to do the same with small ocean vessels, canoes, kayaks, dragging them in, and some have been lucky enough to escape them. And if you were to Google, you would learn worldwide approximately 100 tourists die every year because they get too close to these whirlpools. Swimming, kayaking, or ocean vehicle. I don't know. Just stay away from them. I was caught in a whirlpool once. A group of us, when I was younger, we took inner tubes and we floated the Salt River in Arizona. And unlucky for me, I was on the edge and got stuck in a whirlpool. And I exhausted myself trying to get out of there, and I never did. And luckily, somebody pulled me out, which is a warning. Don't go on adventures by yourself, because to be honest, I don't know if I had the strength to ever get myself out of there. There were kind of branches that I was trying to hold on to that was down in the water. They broke off. There was nothing I could grab onto. So whirlpools are kind of scary. Anyway, according to NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, whirlpools benefit our environment by bringing to the surface nutrients and tiny sea creatures for fish and seabirds to eat. And thinking of those big, huge waves and the nutrients kind of settled on the ground, on the bottom of the ocean. Well, if you study ocean currents, and there are creatures in the ocean that will follow these currents because it's like a grocery store to them. So, yeah, anyway, not all whirlpools are in the oceans. I have previously done searches to find out about whirlpools, and the list of the most dangerous whirlpools kind of change from year to year. And that is because of the swiftness of the tides, how fast those currents are flowing. So as of 2023, the 10 most dangerous whirlpools in the world: number 10, the Strait of Messina, which is a whirlpool between Sicily and Italy. Number 9, Niagara Falls whirlpool, and it's located between Lake Ontario and Lake Erie. Number 8, Kauai Maelstrom. On the shore of Kauai, Hawaii, and you gotta look at the pictures of that because that looks pretty scary. Anyway, number 7, French Pass Channel, which is on the north end of South Island in New Zealand. Shukumchuck Narrows near the Strait of Georgia in British Columbia is number 6. Number 5 is Old Sow. It is the largest whirlpool in the Western Hemisphere, is in the Bay of Fundy between Maine and Nova Scotia, up into the Western Passage of Passamaquoddy Bay. What makes this significant is the water rises 55 feet from low tide to high tide. It is called Old Sow Whirlpool because of the piggy screeching, sucking sounds it makes when quickly swirling. It is about the size of a soccer field, which is more than 250 feet in diameter. Naruto Whirlpools, number 4, off the coast of Tokushima, Japan. Corryvreckan, in the Bay of Corryvreckan, is a strait between Jura and Scarborough Islands in Scotland. It is so noisy, it can be heard 10 miles away. Which is, anyway, number 2 is Mastraumen off the coast of Norway. And number 1 is Saltstraumen, Norway. And it has more than one whirlpool. There's a series of whirlpools. If you were to do a search, you could see 4 whirlpools lined up. Anyway, and that is because those currents are stronger than any other place in the world as of 2023. I would invite you to go and check that out because that is really interesting. In episode 4 of Granny Goes Down the Rabbit Hole of the Moon, we are going to discuss Hipparchus. He lived from 190 BC to 120 BC, was a Greek astronomer, geographer, and mathematician. He is considered the founder of trigonometry, but is most famous for his incidental discovery of the precession of equinoxes. What is that and why is it important? Thank you for joining me in this episode, and join me next time when we learn about Hipparchus and the precession of equinoxes in episode 4 of Granny Goes Down the Rabbit Hole of the Moon. Thank you.